Uh, we'll go back last week. We basically went back because of the game, the cancellation. We went back to a kind of a training camp type schedule where we spent a lot more time fundamentally in individual drills, more time good on good going against each other, and less time from a game plan standpoint. So we weren't quite ready to. We had to transition from Bethune-Cookman into Ole Miss. So we took those 2 or 3 days to really take our time and take a look at the film and the stuff that we had done, and then see what could possibly carry over so that we can continue to work on those things. But it was beneficial for us. It helped us out from an identification of some other guys maybe hadn't gotten a lot of reps. They were able to get more reps in practice that maybe didn't play in game one much, but we had been hoping those guys would grow up, especially some of the younger guys. So that helped out a little bit, and then it helped us schematically. From a coaching standpoint, because the game's over, that the progress doesn't stop. We continue to make progress as the season goes on each week. So you hope that you play your best towards the end of the season, not at the beginning. So we hope that you didn't see the best of us in Jacksonville State. That's not the goal. The goal is for us to play better this week against Ole Miss than we did against Jacksonville State. And we think that we had a chance to accomplish that because of us doing what we did this past week in practice. So when you look at the things that we're going to do this week, we're preparing now. We went through today. Will be a Tuesday practice for us to be able to get a day ahead on Ole Miss. So today will be a Tuesday practice. Tomorrow will be a Wednesday. The next day will be a Thursday. So we'll just be a day ahead the whole time during the course of the week. Be able to get in some extra reps from a game plan standpoint, but also give some of these younger guys some more reps too. So when you have an extra day, you got to be able to take advantage of it from a preparation standpoint. So with that, I'll go into Ole Miss a little bit. They're 1-1. They're coming off of a big win against Arkansas. That was huge for them to open up SEC play. They lost to a good Memphis team early in the season, week 1, 15-10. They was 13-10 late, and they gave up a safety for the final score. I thought they completely dominated Arkansas this past week, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think at Ole Miss's defense is probably there right now where they're really strong. They've got an older group. They're athletic. They're long. They're physical. They pose some problems, especially in protection. Their secondary is well-rounded, and they run. They play a lot of quarters, but they will play man, and when they do, they match up well against us. So we got to do some things schematically to get guys open because they do a good job. It's going to be our receivers have to really work hard to get open to get the football, and we got to do a great job in the protection game. Offensively, it's a younger group. They got the offensive line is even though they're younger and inexperienced, they're still talented. These SEC guys, so you can't just overlook them and say, well, they're a bunch of freshmen or sophomores out there playing. These are highly recruited, good football players, and so they've got that advantage on us from that standpoint. I think their receiving core is really strong. I think they got some good guys out there, length and speed that they can take shots on. And I know the offensive coordinator, Rich Rodriguez, is going to do that. He's a guy that wants to take shots down the field when he can. He doesn't like to go 15-play drives. He would rather score quick. So I think that'll be their MO on Saturday. They're going to take some shots, and they're going to try to get over the top and do some things with us scoring from a long ways out so that they don't have to drive the football. Anytime you have a young team like that, especially on offense, there's more tendencies to make a mistake. A false start, a hold, illegal formation, things like that put you outside the chains off schedule. So he's going to want to guard against that, we feel like, and he's trying to score quick, I think, would be the best way for him. He'd feel most comfortable at it. Their running back is by committee. They do got a good, I don't know all the names yet. Number 22 is a good player. And I know their quarterback does a really good job. He's good on the run. I think he's as effective in movement situations. He's as effective as he is in drop-back game. So most of the stuff in the pocket is quick game. They'll take some shots, like I said. But when he's outside and moving is where I think that's where a lot of probably the extra yardage is going to come from his standpoint, because he's able to run with the football and throw on the run. He's an accurate thrower. Big game for them. As far as them going 2-1, I think it's important for Coach Luke and his staff to make sure that they start the season out well. Again, it didn't start out well against Memphis, but that's a good football team. And then for them opening up against Arkansas was really big for them. So us coming in there, they're not going to overlook us because that's not who they are as professionals. But I know they're going to look past us a little bit I'm sure they're going to feel comfortable with us. So we got to play well. We got to do what we're supposed to do. I think when you look around, you don't have to play a perfect game, but what you can't do is hurt yourself with the pre-snap penalties and turnovers. And if we stay away from those things, we'll always have a chance. We can pick up third downs, we can move the ball and take a shot at the end zone, maybe score a little bit. So we'll do whatever we can from that standpoint, but we got to make sure for us to eliminate the penalties that we can control. And if we do that, we'll be fine along with the turnovers, and then we'll see what happens. It'll be a great 3 o'clock game. It'll be or 3:01, I guess. Great atmosphere, and we're just looking forward to going there. It's a good experience for our guys, but even more than that, it's a chance to build on it and continue to grow. Like I said, the preparation that goes in each week, you don't stop at the game when the clock hits 0 and start all over again the next week. You continue to build on it. So you take what you did well and what you didn't do so well and grow from it, whether you learn or whether you enhance it, whatever you want to do. But you got to take it from those games and grow from there. So with that, I'll take any questions you guys got.
Frank, how well do you know Rich?
Well, we were together 2 years at Tulane in 97 and 98. And then we've remained friends all through the years. Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Know his wife and kids, and really, really a good guy. Me and I have gotten to be good friends like I said, working together and then staying in touch over the years.
Did you take philosophy from him?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in 97 and 98 was a lot of people talk about a lot of the stuff that up-tempo stuff, but it was kind of like on the edge. Rich brought it in from Glenville State when Tommy Bowden came over to Tulane, and it went to a new level with us. In 98, for us to be able to go undefeated and go 12-0, it kind of changed the landscape in a lot of areas. Air raid was one thing that was in at that time. We were doing it with a tempo type deal. We were doing RPOs back then. So RPO seems to be the latest craze now, and we were doing it back then when Rich brought it in from Glenville State. So it was kind of funny. I coached the tight ends in a 4-wide offense. So I had a lot of free time on my hands during that time. It was pretty cool. But it was a chance to learn. And we exchanged ideas over the years and talked about a lot of things and philosophically. And he's adjusted and changed, and you adapt. That's what you do in this game. But at that time, I think we led the country in scoring that year, maybe pretty close to the top. Tennessee won a national championship. They were the only other undefeated team. And I'm not saying we didn't want to play them, but I was happy going 12-0. We were good with that.
What's the latest on Chasen?
He's good. He's practiced this past week. He'll practice this week. He'll be ready to go on Saturday. So you'll see Cole in there. Cole will play some too, and you'll see both guys. But they'll be, Chasen will be out starting. He'll be out there playing.
Do you like that idea of playing 2 quarterbacks to have one guy with snaps, so if something happens, he can go in?
Well, not necessarily for that. I think you got to be able. There's got to be a purpose for it, and the purpose is that Cole's able to do things. Use his abilities to do certain things. It's it's like any other position, the running back position, or we use multiple running backs. Well, some guys are better inside than outside. Some guys receive better. Some guys protect better. So you want to give them their strengths that enhance who we are as a football team. So Cole does some things that we can take advantage of from a physical standpoint that maybe Chasen couldn't do. But overall, Chasen's our starter, but we want to be able to get Cole in there to take advantage of those things that he's able to do really well. And, Cole's played there. When Cole's at Arkansas, he started and played at Ole Miss. And so he's excited about this game, but at the same time, we're able to use his experience of playing there and, let him share that with the team and talk to him about the environment that they're going into.
Their defense struggled last year, but they really changed what they're doing this year. What are they doing differently?
Yeah, they're a 3-down team. They're a 3-4 team this year, Rob. They were more of a 4-down team last year. But I think what's happened is Mike McIntyre came over from Colorado. He was the head coach there. He's taken over. The intensity that they're playing with is different. It's just a different level. They've taken it up. And some of those guys that were younger last year have grown up, and they got some good players over there on defense. So I think it's their intensity level. It looks like I think they're a lot more organized. They don't come at you from a lot of different angles, although we could see some this week. They kind of know who they are and what they want to be about and what they're going to do, but they play really hard. So I think that's probably, you look at last year's film, just from a personnel standpoint, we studied them in the summer. So we looked at some of last year's tape, to find out, maybe who guys were that were coming back, and then projecting them now to what they are and watching them in the first 2 games. Kind of felt like those guys are playing a lot harder at a higher level of intensity right now.
Coach, in a game like this, you might be trying to steal as many possessions as possible. Is this a game where you might want to look for fake plays on special teams or trick plays offensively, or is that something more that you're just looking for tendencies that you think you can take advantage of in film?
Yeah, we do that every week. We do it every week. We'll carry in a fake off a field goal, extra point, punt every week. Exotics, we call them exotics because they're not really tricks. I mean, I guess it could be a trick, but we call them exotics. We carry those in every week. We'll take shots on 4th down. We led the conference last year in 4th down attempts and in conversions, so we'll do that. That's every week. I think to win any game, you got to be able to put yourself in the best possible position to do that, and we're going to make sure that we carry all these things in for our guys to give them the best possible chance to win. So, yeah, possessions are going to be important. That's why I said we can't turn it over and take away one of ours and give them an extra at bat. We got to be able to stay in there and at worst end every possession with a kick, which means we're either punting it or we're kicking a field goal or we're kicking an extra point. If we can do that, we'll be okay. We'll have a chance. But if we turn it over, it's just hard to go ahead and win, especially, an environment like that on the road.
Right, you lacked a running game last year, a significant one. Would you talk a little bit about how important that was in that first game, having the running game to build off of?
Yeah, I didn't think we did a good enough job last year with our players getting them to get off the ball and get up the field, and I think we're much more sound up front right now. I think our staff has done a better job portraying what we want offensively and how we want to play. We want to be more aggressive. We want to get off the football. So the message has been from, like I said, I keep going back to that. The clock hit 0 in Thibodeau. From that time on, we're going to be more aggressive on our football team everywhere. We're going to be more aggressive coaching. We're going to be more aggressive playing. We're going to be more aggressive taping ankles. We're going to be more aggressive making them drink Powerade. Everything. We're going to be more aggressive in everything that we do, so that carries over into us. But our run game is based on that. We got to get off the football, come off the football, play hard, play physical, and let's see what happens. But if we play too laterally and too soft, which we did too much of last year, I think that's where we got caught a few times. So if we're gonna let's throw everything to the wind and let's go and let's see where it takes us.
With that in mind, how much better was Devontae Williams?
I think what you saw from Devontae, and the same thing from Coop, with the opportunities in the open air, in the open field, you see those guys have some talents that you can take advantage of. So when Devontae catching a flare and there's a guy that's got him in the sidelines and he's able to make a move and then take it down the sideline. So you're able to see those guys. We got to be able to get them in space. So that's why it's important, not only in the run game, but also in the pass game. There's going to be some times in the run game where, you got to run between the tackles. We got to be able to do that. But him in space, along with Coop in space, I think are really they can be dynamic guys for us and turn 3 or 4 yard gains into 13, 14 yard gains.
Did he struggle last year?
He did because we were a more lateral football team, so the creases weren't there. It was kind of a patient, and find a spot, and so we're away from that now. Here's the designated hole. Now you can bounce it or kick it, and that's what he's done. That fits his game. That fits him a whole lot more than the last one. So it was a lot of changes took place, but the growth in him was understanding now the blocking scheme and feeling more comfortable with it. So that's why I think you'll see a lot more production out of him.
What does Coach Spurlock say about this game?
He's, it's awesome to be able to go back. I did it last year for the first game against ULM, and you gotta, there's a different feel in your stomach to be able to go back to the alma mater and stand there and say, hey, this is what we got to do and this is what we're going to do. But for him, he's probably, besides Archie, I don't know, Mike's biggest legend in Mississippi that they got. He's a famous guy up there. And I know he's catching heck from a lot of his old teammates and all that stuff. But he's excited about going back. He feels like he's very proud to be able to walk out there with this football team. He's very proud to walk into Oxford and play Ole Miss, his alma mater, in front of all of his buddies, and here's the product we're going to put up there against you. So that makes you feel good, as a head coach and as any player. That makes you feel really good that He feels that good about walking into that stadium. He's not embarrassed. He's not hanging his head. He's not, let's hurry up, get in, get a check, and get out. Hell no, we're coming in there to play, and we're going to play well. And at the end of the day, y'all better look up because we got a chance to win this thing. So I love his attitude and the way he's feeling about it. It's awesome.
What can you tell us about Matt Wright and his situation?
Matt had surgery this morning, so he should be out by the time we finish this. We'll have we should have a report on him. So he'll be out for the season. He'll be done this year, and unfortunate, we miss him. He spoke to our team the other day that it's, you're only one play away from everything being taken away from you. So he had, like I said, he had a great off season, summer conditioning, everything else, and unfortunately, this took place, and then now. He's having a surgery today. He'll be out for the season, but we'll get him back. He'll start the rehab process and get going again,
Is that hamstring?
Hamstring, yes, yeah.
So is y'all going to try to, because I know he transferred over.
Right.
Is he going to be able to play after the season?
We feel like everything's going to be fine, Rob. He's got 1 year of eligibility left, and we feel like because of the knee injury last year, the hamstring this year, we feel 99% certain we'll be able to file for a medical and get his 6th year, which will allow him to graduate from here and get his master's degree. So he's Matt's not a guy that has, not that he doesn't have visions on playing in the NFL, but he has visions on starting a company, making a bunch of money and doing a lot of things like that once he gets out. And with a master's degree, he's going to be able to walk out of here with a championship ring on, hopefully, a master's degree, and get started in life with no student debt. That's a heck of a deal for him. So he's looking at the bright spot. He's looking at the positive of it, So I think that's pretty good.
Did you guys go in here with no pressure on yourself?
No different than anything else. I think every week you apply the same stuff. You don't go in there and say, we're on ESPN and we're in an SEC stadium, so we really got to play hard. Well, God, dog, I hope we've been playing hard the whole time. I hope we got to practice hard this week because we got Ole Miss. Well, I hope like hell we've been practicing hard every week, So I think we try to apply as much pressure as we can. We differentiate between stress and pressure. Pressure is stuff that you can control. You control your own environment. So if you feeling something around you, then there's something wrong with you. You control the environment. Stress is stuff that's put on from you from the outside that you don't have control over. When you're asked to do something that you don't have control over it. Well, that's stress. So we try to keep the guys away from that. I want the pressure. You don't jump off sides. Catch the ball when it's thrown to you. Make the right reads. Let's block these guys. Those things you can control. You can't control. I can't tell a defensive back that if we don't throw for 300 yards, we're going to lose, and it's his fault. That's stress. Now he's got his mind somewhere else. So we're applying pressure every day. That's what we want to do. We just want to eliminate the stress out of their lives. So our approach this week is no different than it was against Jacksonville State. It won't be any different than it is against Lamar next week. Be the same.